But first, Prince Harry has suffered a humiliating legal defeat in his libel case against the Mail on Sunday. The Duke decided to throw in the towel just hours before he was obligated to hand over relevant documents, meaning he could now face legal fees of up to £1 million. Well, Harry brought the legal action against the paper's publisher over an article which claimed the Prince's PR team had tried to spin a dispute with the Home Office over his taxpayer-funded police protection. He had claimed the piece unfairly accused him of confusing the public, but now he's decided to discontinue the case. Harry's separate legal action against the Home Office for withdrawing his automatic right to close protection when he left for America is still ongoing. I think it's worth bearing in mind that this is one of multiple, not just two, legal cases that Harry is pursuing at the moment. We know that he sees this as his life's work. He is messianic about taking the British tabloids to court. And there's a bit of me that kind of admires his determination and his backbone and his, you know, the fact that he views this as his life's work. This actually could cost even more than £1 million. And it never even got to court. They're now saying it could be 1.2 million. In tomorrow's papers, there'll be lots of confusing stories about that so far he's only got to pay 48,000 and so on, but he's got to pay the Mail's fees, his own fees, and so on. And you just wonder, is he ever going to get bored of this?
You think it's admirable? You think there's a part of you that
There's a little part of me that admires the fact that he's got it within him. I don't think it's wise.
I think it's so sad.
Yeah.
I think it's so sad that this has become his life's obsession. I mean, really, what are we talking about? We're talking about tabloid papers making up stories, which they do a lot of the time about a lot of people. It's not pleasant for him, clearly, and, you know, the Sussexes are a huge target for that, or whether or not they've made up the stories. But really, doesn't he have more important things to do? What about his mental health charity, you know, his foundation? What about Archewell? What about Invictus Games? What about doing other things? What about leaving behind, you know, the Royals and all of that they said they wanted to do when they left for California?
Yeah, I completely agree. But just to jump in, from his point of view, he thinks that, you know, the tabloids are evil and need bringing down. I don't agree with him.
He's fueling their fire, and I think he needs to get over this obsession with it because it's unhealthy and it speaks of a really unhappy man.
Well, let's not over-egg it here. He's not going to court every day himself. He's not pouring over
papers. He's got about 6 legal cases going on.
And which he's paying a legal team to sort out. He is not at home just on Zoom calls all day. He's got a legal team who do all the work. They do all the heavy lifting. He still goes about his normal life. He still gets to be at home with Meghan. He still gets to attend the aviation awards. He still gets to play with his kids. This is not a man who is literally... He's not putting on the wig and going in as about to visit, right? It's not that big a thing. I think this makes him look... I think this does look bad on Harry because people are going to... Naysayers will say there must be some evidence that he didn't want to come out. Something bad to be written. Or so there must have been some document that puts him in a bad light, so that's why he's pulled at the last minute. Because you wouldn't spend this amount of money, you wouldn't commit that amount of cash to taking someone to court to pull out at the last second like this.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Is that sort of opaque word, confuse the public. What does confuse mean in that context? Lie, maybe? Deliberately mislead?
Yeah.
I mean, before Christmas, obviously, he had a big victory, didn't he? And it was seen as... People thought there was like a knockout blow in this battle. When actually, it's a series of bouts, you know. And this is one where he's faced a fairly sort of stunning defeat on paper, it seems. What is weird is we're all encouraged to be either Team Harry or Team kind of, against them. Is to see him as a purely objective person. Like you say, he's guided by this mission. But that level of mission doesn't make for somebody who has an absolutely clear view of what's going on.
I also think about the lawyers as well. Do you think he was ill-advised? I think that's the other thing, isn't it?
Oh, diddums. He's 39 years old.
No, but do you know what I mean, though? You know, the point is, it's about, you know, you have those discussions and you do wonder whether somebody somewhere should have said, do you know what, this might actually, you know, this might take an awful long time and you might come out at the end of it actually owing an awful lot of money and having won a kind of Pyrrhic victory.
I completely take your point. My understanding from speaking to people who are much more familiar with what's going on is that he cannot be advised. He does not take advice. On this issue, because he feels it burns so brightly inside him, so deeply, he's so angry that when he is given advice, he just ignores it.
So even
and
if they
says,
say,
yeah,
you know what, it's unwise to pursue this,
Yeah.
he goes, I don't care, I'm doing it anyway.
And actually, on JJ's point of that, you know, JJ doesn't think he's sitting in Montecito poring over the documents. He is. He is in Montecito poring over these documents. He says he is. Meghan has said he is. He does. He goes through it every day. He sees it as a day job. He really does. Now, you know, either you approve or you disapprove, but I promise you he is doing that. I promise he is.
No, JJ,
Well.
JJ's there. JJ's saying, JJ's there going, Harry, great, you're talking to your children again. That's fantastic. Anyway, pouring over that mountain of paperwork.